Hello friends, I am Akar Rogelia, lecturer in BVM Engineering College, Vallabh Vidyanagar. Today we have Dr. Motilal Panigrahi, Assistant Professor in Mathematics, GH Patel College of Engineering, Vallabh Vidyanagar, and today he will deliver a talk on Introduction to Linear Algebra.
So, good afternoon. Today we will speak on Introduction to Linear Algebra. So, in this we will take 4 subtopics. The subtopics are vector spaces, subspaces, linear independence, basis, and dimension. So, to start with, let us take an example. So, matrices play a very important role in the study of system of linear equations and their solutions. While solving such system, we come across matrix equation like Ax equal to 0. Now, consider the set S of all n vectors x with components in a number field F, for example, real numbers or complex numbers, which satisfy the equation Ax equal to 0, where A is an n cross n matrix over F. So, here we make 3 observations basically. If y is a solution of Ax equal to 0, then so does ky, where k is a scalar or k is a real number or complex number. If y1 and y2 are 2 solutions, then so does their sum y1 plus y2. In fact, all solutions can be represented as finite linear combinations of solutions where y equal to summation ki yi I from 1 to n minus r, where r is the rank of A, and this y1, y2, yn minus r are n minus r linearly independent solutions of Ax equal to 0, and ki's are arbitrary scalars. So what we got? We got that the sum, previous slide, the sum is a solution and the product k into y is also a solution. So, the set of solutions is having a structure where we can sum the elements and we can multiply a scalar with a element and we still have that as solution. So, this lead to an important aspect or an important concept which is called a vector space. So, what is a vector space? Let V be a non-empty set of objects with 2 operations, namely addition of vectors and multiplication by scalars. We call V a vector space if the following 10 conditions are satisfied by all elements x, y, z in V and all scalars k and l. So, what are those 10 conditions? Let us see. First condition is vector addition. If x and y are elements of V, then x plus y is in V. Then commutativity of addition, that means if we add x to y, that will be same as y plus x. So, x plus y and y plus x are equal. Then the third condition is associativity of addition, namely x plus y plus z. Here y and z are added first and then added to x. That will be same as first addition of x and y are taken, that is x plus y, and then it is added to z. So, these 2 quantities will be same, then we say that it is then the set V is such that associativity is satisfied. It is for all x, y, z. Then the fourth condition, additive identity. So there is one such vector, we can call it as 0 vector, such that 0 plus x is equal to x, and that is same as x plus 0, because it has to satisfy commutativity property. Therefore it is 0 plus x and x plus 0 both will give to the same value x, and it is for all x. Then we say that the element 0 is an identity, additive identity. Then the next fifth one is additive inverse. For each vector x, there exists another vector y such that x plus y equal to 0. So if there is such y, we say that x has an additive inverse, and it should happen for each vector. Then multiplication by a scalar kx is in V. That means for each scalar k and a vector x, the product, the scalar multiplication must be in V. Then scalar associativity, k and l are scalar, then l into x then multiplied by k will be same as k into l, the scalar multiplication among them, into x, and these two should be equal. Then the eighth condition is scalar distributivity. Scalar distributivity. So k plus l into x is equal to kx plus lx. Then vector distributivity. So k into x plus y is equal to kx plus ky. And the last property related to scalar multiplication, that is scalar identity. The scalar 1 when multiplied to any vector x, it gives to x. If all these 10 properties, 5 are related, first 5 are related to vector addition, and the next 5 are related to scalar multiplication. If all these 10 conditions are satisfied by a set V, non-empty set V, then we call V as a vector space. So firstly, two vectors, namely two conditions should be, two operations should be there, the vector addition and scalar multiplication, and 10 conditions should be satisfied. Now according to the scalars, we can call the vector spaces, like if the scalars are from complex field, complex numbers, then we call it a complex vector space. If the scalars are from real numbers, real number field, then we term it as real vector space. The first immediate example we come across is Rn. It is a vector space in its own right, where the standard operation is addition and scalar multiplication. So the standard operation of addition and scalar multiplication in Rn becomes a vector space. If n is 1, then R, we have the real numbers. This is a vector space. For n equal to 2, R2, the vectors in the plane is a vector space under standard addition and scalar multiplication. Similarly, R3, the vectors in 3 space. These 3 are very easy examples which we come across in many places. So the next example we come across, next slide. So let us discuss some typical examples which we will be using at various places. The first example we deal is the set V of all 2 cross 2 real matrices with usual matrix addition and usual multiplication of a scalar and a matrix. So let us verify how it is a vector space. let U and V be two matrices, two cross 2 matrices in V. Then U plus V is defined as, next slide, U plus V is component wise addition. U11 is added to V11, U12 is added to V12, U21 is added to V21, and U22 is added to V22. We can see that it is also a 2 cross 2 real matrix. Similarly, we can verify commutativity, that is U plus V will be same as V plus U. And additive identity here is the zero matrix 0 0 0 0. We can very easily check that 0 plus U, that is 0 0 0 0, plus U1 1 U1 2 U2 1 U2 2 is equal to U11 U12 U21 U22, and that is equal to U. So 0 plus U gives rise to U. Therefore 0 matrix is the additive identity for the set V. Then additive inverse, for U minus U, which is defined as minus U11 minus U12 minus U21 minus U22, we can very easily see that U plus minus U gives us the 0 matrix, which is the additive identity. So U plus minus U gives us the additive identity. Therefore minus U acts as the additive inverse of U, and vice versa, that is U acts as the additive inverse of minus U. Then scalar multiplication, if K is a real number and U is a vector, that is here the matrix U11 U12 U21 U22, then K into U is defined as KU11 KU12 KU21 KU22, and we can see that this is also a 2 cross 2 matrix, and therefore it belongs to V. So scalar multiplication is defined like this, and remaining properties related to scalar multiplication can be easily verified, and therefore the set 2 cross 2 real matrix is a vector space. This particular example can be extended to M cross N real matrices with same usual matrix addition and usual multiplication of a scalar and a matrix, and it can be easily verified that Mn is a real vector space because the scalars are from reals. Then the next example, which is very important in the sense that it is heavily utilized in algebra, the set of real valued functions we can call script f with usual pointwise addition, that is if f g are two functions, their addition or sum is defined as pointwise addition, that is for each x belong to R, we can define f plus g as the function which takes x to fx plus gx, and this is how the addition operation is defined, and the scalar multiplication is defined as k in a scalar f a function, kf will be a function which is defined as kf into x equal to k into fx. So with these two basic operations, it can be easily verified that this is also a vector space. So previous slide. So here we can ask, what will be the additive identity here? The additive identity is the constant function 0, which takes all the elements to 0. So f plus 0 will be f, and similarly for f a function, the additive inverse will be minus f, which will be minus f of x equal to minus fx, and therefore this is also a vector space. The next typical example we come across is the set of all polynomials denoted by Pnx, that is a0 plus a1x plus a2x square plus dot 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 anxn, where n is a fixed positive integer, x is an indeterminate, and ai's are arbitrary scalars with usual addition of polynomials and multiplication by a scalar. It can be easily verified that Pnx is a vector space. This example we will deal in a later point. Now let us come to an example which is not a vector space. So this set can be anything, but the addition and multiplication defined on it are important. Say for example, consider the set of all triples of real numbers x, y, z with the operations pointwise addition, that is x comma y comma z plus x dash comma y dash comma z dash equal to x plus x dash, y plus y dash, z plus z dash, and the scalar multiplication defined by k into x comma y comma z equal to kx comma 0 comma 0. So here note that kx y z is not equal to kx into ky into kz. So the multiplication is defined by us according to our choice, and that might be a possibility. So here k into x comma y comma z is equal to kx comma 0 comma 0, and because of this it might not satisfy all the conditions of a vector space. So the proof is very easy. As the addition is the standard addition in R3, so all the conditions related to addition will be certainly valid. However, the last property related to scalar multiplication, that is, next slide, that is 1 dot u equal to u is not valid here. As we can check, let u be the tuple 3 tuple 2 comma 3 comma 4 in R3. We have 1 dot u equal to 1 dot 2 3 4, and as we have defined the scalar multiplication, we get 1 into 2, that is 2 comma 0 comma 0, and certainly this is not equal to u. So we did not get 1 dot u as u, and since one condition, namely the 10th condition, is not satisfied, therefore R3 with these operations is not a vector space. Let us see another example. Let us see another example which is very important, in the sense that here we can see that the 0 element need not be 0, rather it can be something else. Similarly, the additive inverse need not be just minus u. If u is a if u is an element in the set, minus u need not act as the additive inverse. That is a notation. So